All right. You know, in the mid-1980s, I answered an ad in the Cleveland Scene magazine for a touring band that was looking for a sound mixer. So I called the guy up and he says that they've been on the road for 2 years solid. The guy that's mixing them now wants to get out, wants to have a life somewhere, and they're looking to be on the road perpetually. They're carrying a 24-foot truck with all the sound and lighting and the band gear in it. Everybody else is riding in a motorhome, and that's how it's rolling. He promises me it's going to be high adventure and for $50 a week and $3 a day food money. $50 a week, $3 a day food money, I'm in. So I meet the guys in mid-Ohio at their spot, and it's like everybody has got a hangover. You know, nobody wants to talk and say anything. It's all right, it's a little what it is, you know. So I get in the truck with Pops, who is the sound guy that's on his way out, and the lighting guy, who they called the Germ. And the Germ, he sat next to me and his head rattled against the window all the way to Norfolk, Virginia. So we ride down there, and me and Pops talking about sound and the audio system and all that business, all the way down there. We get to Norfolk, or Newport News, actually is what it was, whatever the club there was. Set the thing up, and I'm taking notes for the day, and really excited about the gig. Do the sound check, everything's hip, and then showtime comes. The place is packed. You know, this band had a great following in 20 plus states on the East Coast and the Midwest, and so pyro explosion, boom, the band kicks into an AC/DC song, the crowd goes wild. It was just some good time. The band War Child, they were as good as you get. Anybody that got to see them in the mid-1980s in the East Coast of America, man, they had some kind of treat. You got your money's worth for what that show was, a show that you could never take into a nightclub ever again. You know, just saying. So we get through that night, and show's over, and this is my first night. This is my first night of a year that I'm going to spend with these guys. Night number one. Go back to the hotel, and there's a big party going on, and the tour manager wants to see me in the motorhome. So I go in the motorhome, sit down with him, and he goes, Pete, listen, here's the deal. We expect to be the loudest band everywhere we go, and that's on you. We also expect a couple other things from you too. Now he takes a half gallon of Jim Beam and he slides it over to me. He goes, we expect you to drink as much alcohol as we do. And then he says, give me your hand. I give him a hand, and he pours cocaine into it. I have a handful of cocaine. He goes, we expect you to keep up with us. And we expect you to have sex with as many women as possible. We expect you to commit random acts of violence and vandalism wherever we go. And you have to tell everyone that you're with us. These guys lived on their party reputation. When they came to town, people would rearrange their work schedule. I mean, a week with these guys, you're going to have venereal disease. You're going to have some alcohol poisoning and a sinus problem. Absolutely. I mean, nobody partied harder than these guys. I mean, it was another fucking level, another book, another chapter to the whole thing, right? So, I agree. And so I take my half gallon and my handful of blow, and I walk out the door, and I'm 1 foot out the door, and there's the drummer for the band. He's in a car full of these strippers that just got off work. He goes, Pete, get in the car. We're going to a party. All right. One of the girls gets out. I slide myself in. She gets back in. We're driving to God knows where, and I'm sharing everything I got in my hands with everybody. And it's all going down. We get to some apartment complex. There's a party going on there. Some of the members of the band and crew are there, and 100 plus people are there from the show we just did. And I don't know what was going down, man. I mean, I was busy partying with these chicks, and the Germ, thought it would be interesting if he opened up the girl's refrigerator in her kitchen and he dumped the thing on the floor with the thing open and the contents spilled everywhere. I mean, it was above and beyond rude. They did call themselves the Rude Crew, so living up to it. So I'm like, what the fuck is going on here? And then meanwhile, our spotlight guy, who we called somebody picked up the phone. Back in the 80s, a phone was like a big weapon, and picked up the phone, and he threw it through the girl's picture window, like right through the window. I'm like, what the hell? Smashed. A big fight broken out. So this thing's going down, and the place is getting trashed, and the chick that's smelling my hand says, hey, you want to get out of here? Go back to my place? I mean, that sounds like a fantastic idea. So we split, we get in her car, and God knows where we're going. I mean, I have no idea where I am. I have no idea where I'm going. I have no idea what's up. I'm having the time of my life. This is just some good time. So we're driving through the night, and it's just about the sun coming up, and we're going through like some kind of park, and there's like trees on each side, and like her hands are all over me, I'm all over her. She's not even looking at the road a click, and we hit something. I'm like, whoa, what the fuck? And we look back, and she had run over a bunny. A little rabbit, man. I don't know what for what, but man, I thought it was funny, and I started laughing, and she started freaking out on me, and she started screaming at me, "What? Well, that's not funny. What kind of people are you?" And she's looking at me. She's not looking at the road, and she's looking at me. What? And before I can answer these charges about what kind of person I am, I swear to Christ, bump, bump, bump. We hit a group of ducks that was crossing the road. She fucking slams on the brakes. I'm laughing. She's, get the fuck out of my car. Get out of my car. I get out of the car. She peels away. There's still duck feathers everywhere. I mean, and I'm holding an empty half gallon of Jim Beam at this point. I'm like, where the fuck? I have no idea where I am. So what can you do? I licked my knuckles for some energy, what I had left, and I started walking. And I walked for the next 6 hours until I found a motel that had a truck with a pirate flag out front. And I'll tell you what, man, that was the first day of a year that I spent on the road with these guys. And it was unbelievable.